And so on to the next stage of the Irish coast cycle, and this is going to be day 30 to day 36. Basically, getting the train down to Tralee, uh, doing the Dingle Peninsula over 2 days. I'd originally planned to do three, but there was a delay. I'll explain that. Then going up through the coast of Limerick, around to Clare, crossing over the ferry at Tarbert, and then coming up all the way up around Clare and into Galway to Oranmore. So let's have a look at those day by day. Starting with the things that go wrong backpacking, it's your friend's birthday the night before, you go out for a couple of quiet pints, and the next thing you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning in Route 66. You're too hungover to really deal with the train the next day, so you basically cop out and decide to catch the one the following day instead, but now you're a day short to cover the distance you need to do. When you turn up for the train the next day, it turns out Inroad Éireann have cancelled the direct train, and instead you're going to have to go via Mallow. And at Mallow you discover that both the bike racks have already been taken, so you have to put your bike in the corridor of the train. Oh dear, you celebrate with some white wine on that train to Tralee. So after a somewhat stressful train ride down, I have more or less made it. Just leaving Tralee station now and getting on the road. Yeah, the whole getting a bike on and off a train thing is just ridiculous. I just noticed there I forgot to turn on my battery. Most of the trains still only have 2 bike racks. They're slowly bringing in more. They have a booking system that I think a lot of people missed the last step of, so they think they booked a bike and they haven't. So that's what just happened to me in that last section coming through. I got off, I had to change trains at Mallow, got on the train that I presume was coming from Cork, and of course both bike spaces were already gone. Which is my big fear with all of these, but fortunately the kind of station staff are used to that, so they just put it in they just allowed me to leave it by the back door basically, which is a nuisance for other people getting on and off. It gets in the way, but I was getting up and down to move it as need be. Alright, I have to find my way out of here. Probably should focus on that rather than talking to the camera. How complicated can it be? First stop is the filling station just across the bridge to get us some snacks, and then checking out Derrymore Beach as a potential future wild camping spot. Looks like it's probably suitable. You are unfortunately stuck on the N86, which is a nasty fast road for much of the route from Tralee initially. However, if you check my tour map in the description, you'll see that you can get off it to go both south towards the mountains and then also north towards the coast and Castlegregory. As you can see, the northern road towards the mountains is pretty bumpy, but otherwise it's lovely. If I had been sticking with my original plan of doing the peninsula in 3 days, I'd have actually followed this road to Glen Tennisig Woods and camped there for the night. However, because I had skipped that day, I had to make up time, and that meant having to make it right the way down to Wine Strand. Here we've crossed the road and we're now on the north side of it between here and the sea, which is quite marshy as you can see, and this is the road to Castlegregory. Now as I get to Castlegregory itself, I have an interesting navigation error where it sends me around this narrow bumpy laneway, and that doesn't really actually cut any distance off the road I was on. I'm basically coming out almost onto the same road again. But anyway, Castlegregory, and then you're heading back up towards the main road again. Now at this point the main road isn't as busy. It's heading for the Connor Pass. It's a Sunday evening, however, so it could be a lot busier when you're doing it. It's probably one to try and do that you're hitting either in the evening or the early morning when there's less tourist traffic on it. If you're up for a seriously strenuous hike, take the right-hand fork on this road down to Oncloughaun, and then keep going down and find the parking area. That's the start of the hard climb up Bandon Mountain. I had done this the previous year, no, 2 years ago, and it's incredibly spectacular, to put it mildly. At the top, it's tough, but I'm not doing that today. Today we're heading for the Connaught Pass, which is a pretty famous cycle and drive. This is part of Eurovelo 1 and also the Wide Atlantic Way route. There's not a limited amount of roads on the Dingle Peninsula. But, yep, the day I was climbing it, unfortunately, it was a pretty heavy mist. So although you had the thrill of bombing up the narrow roads, there wasn't the great view that you might have perhaps hoped for once I was partway up. Almost at the top of the Connaught Pass, but unfortunately it's not really a day for the views. Have to come back later in the summer. There's a short hike from this parking area to Loch Doon. I didn't make it because I had to make time, but I'm definitely going to return to do that. And then it was after catching my breath time to do the last bit of the ascent to the top of the pass. This one is very much single track road and you can't really see what's coming. So in the mist it's a little scary because you're going, what if I run into a car coming down? As it was okay. You know, you could sort of see why I was getting nervous, but I made it, and then up to the top in total blackout mist. Quite a relief when I'd gone far enough down the other side for the mist to break. It's a fast descent from here all the way down to Dingle. As you get down towards Dingle, you can get off the main road on a track to the right, but be warned, this one is very gravelly. I did decide to go down it, and here's a picture proving I made it, but bump, bump, bump all the way. The approaching sunset meant I couldn't do the full loop of the Dingle Peninsula I'd intended, but I did in fact head quite a bit north and got most of it done. At this point, I'm also really looking forward to a pint and hopefully getting something to eat before getting the tent up for the night. And then total tragedy strikes, and only a couple of kilometres from where I intended to camp, the pub was closed. Fortunately, there's a village just up the road, so I headed up to that and got a pint and a meal. And then it was back down towards Wine Strand. I had wild camped here before, so I was very confident about stopping again. And I arrived just as an absolutely fantastic sunset got into full swing. So I was able to enjoy that while putting the tent up. There's a pair of standing stones on a hill overlooking Wine Strand. It's basically right beside it. I don't know anything about them, and they're fairly substantial, but I haven't as yet found them marked on a map. Now, the Dingle Peninsula is full of Neolithic monuments, so it may be that there's nothing particularly remarkable about that pair, but I definitely, on my next trip down, I'm going to have to try and find out a little bit more. Certainly, as with many stone circles and standing stones, the setting they were placed in is absolutely magnificent. I'm camping on a small piece of headland just off the road here. It's literally only a few meters off the road, but there were also at least 2 other groups of people camping this night, and this is fairly early May, and the last time I'd camped down here with a friend was also other groups of people doing it, so it seems to be quite a popular traditional spot. Certainly people fish as well, and there's basically this bit of land here and then on the other side of the road that gets used. So that was day 30 of the Irish Coast Cycle. If you're new to the channel, be sure to give it a follow so you can catch the rest of them and also see my Scottish Highlands ones. And do give me a thumbs up for this video. Thank you.